Welcome to All My Art and Soul, and this is going to be a 30-day art journaling practice, which is not a challenge, but an invitation to find a new positive path to ourselves, to our creativity. If you open yourself up so that art and soul journaling can be a source of renewed inspiration, stillness, clarity, peace, and even wisdom. Over the next 30 days, I will be uploading a daily affirmation video, so come and join me for 30 days of art and soul journaling. And welcome back to Affirmation Art Journaling number 28. And today's affirmation is: every moment is a wonderful opportunity to become more of who I am. Every moment is a wonderful opportunity to become more of who I am. So our art really helps us on this journey, and it is a mirror of who we are, and we just need to keep going. So the colors for this page, very similar to the previous number 27 affirmation art journaling page number 27. If you haven't checked it out, you might want to. I use the teal instead of the turquoise blue. I found my heavy-bodied Payne's Gray. It's yellow oxide this time instead of yellow ochre, but the two are very similar, but the oxide is more vibrant. The cadmium orange hue, black, the transmixing white, and the regular titanium white, which is more opaque. So as I put the paints out for my palette, I'm trying not to put so much out, because on a journaling page, sometimes you can use a lot. It depends how many layers happen, which is very different from a painting, or the way I paint is just one layer at a time. And you could, in the first stage, you could have as much as 6 layers, and it's just the beginning stage. So you're just trying to, and I can't wait to get to that. But staying present with this particular journey, and I hope everyone has enjoyed following along, watching, listening, or creating. And I hope you continue watching and liking and subscribing to my channel as I continue to do more and explore more on my artistic journey. So I thought I would just and don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you are liking this content. So thinking of the quadrants again, and thinking of doing the corners, this is the composition part. Not doing the 3 horizontal or the 5, but just gathering the papers that I intended to use yesterday, but can today because it's a similar color palette. So I thought I would start with this beautiful teal, and I love teal when it's mixed with a little Payne's Gray. It cools it off, and then I'm finding out that adding a lot of water, or more water, not a lot because it's paper, of course, really gets you can see the paper underneath that paint, and a lot of the white shows and reflects it out. So it really changes. So in your initial layers, you might want to keep that in mind. And this yellow oxide with, what did I mix it with? Oh, the unbleached titanium. Oh, this isn't unbleached titanium. This is called parchment, but it's very similar, very, very similar. It is such a beautiful, soft yellow when mixed with a neutral unbleached titanium or similar color. So adding that little orange and just spreading things around. I didn't want to go all the way across with the blue, and just experimenting more with these colors. What I'm really searching for, I believe, is different shapes and different compositions. Gradually, especially for this, after I finish this series, I will do a great big Pinterest dive. And if you follow me, and I don't know if I've had those public, maybe I should make them public. I have a bunch of pins, boards, I should say. One's for pattern, one's for color families, one's for shapes, and yes, just those three. And I use that as research. And that's how I use Pinterest. I gather a lot of things that I want, that I like, that I want to use or keep in mind or whatever. So I've added the black and the Payne's gray together just right away, making sure I have enough darks, midtones, and lights going on. I'm not really caring. I'm thinking vertically though, that's basically it. And I thought, well, I had in mind, after this, and it dries, I'll just add some collage pieces, but instead I'm changing the saturation. And I love when you have a color that's unsaturated and the same one saturated. And what a neat difference that is, and making sure we're using differences. And yet, I think it was the last video that I said, and I haven't done it yet either, I'm going to put a chart up right there in front of me at my art journaling stage or in my studio where I can see it. And of course, I'm going to make my book of differences. I'm sort of behind in some of my courses, but I've been so busy. And then write down so I can look and all the differences that I can think of, research, and have this giant list so that I don't have to think. I want to just react and enjoy and play. So you might want to do that yourself. Big, small, soft, hard-edged, transparent, opaque, saturated, unsaturated, sharp, round. There's all sorts of things differences that you wouldn't really think about. So if you already have them down, there you go. So rounded corners, sharp corners, long, short, all sorts of things. So I'll just, we'll leave that. And so then I put that piece of collage paper, that peachy color, which is why I chose to use the cadmium orange hue to add that peachiness. I noticed you can get a really nice peachy color when you put that and unbleached titanium together. So I had this beautiful piece of blue paper, and I thought, yes, I want to use it in a tall way, reaching up, going up. And then, of course, this one's short and it's horizontal. So vertical, horizontal. And I wanted to cover that circle a little bit, put it in the background, that arc. But similar color, but not the same blue. And I love when you have a bunch of different blues together. That is my old speller that I found in my bookstore that has the loveliest yellow, aged yellow papers. And I found, there it is. I remembered I wanted to use this on the page yesterday, and it just didn't go, or I think I already had a piece. So I'm gonna not put it there, or do I put it there? Oh, okay. Yes, I do. I find another one to go on top of that tall blue tower thing. So already what I've put down is changing compositionally, you see? putting the light on the dark. So now you have this contrast with where the light, the edge of the light meets the dark, and it's a vertical and it's darker up there. So I can play with that. I've got different oranges going on in the middle, which I end up doing using marks. And I did end up, I found a book at the bookstore the other day. I think it was, what was it? I forget the name of it. That's not important. But I opened it up and it was filled full of dried flowers. And this book was given to someone, it says, in the 50s, but it's published like in the 20s. And maybe not that old, but wow, they were so transparent and faded, and I'm going to use them somehow. And just trying to research, I know that there's a lot of art out there with dried flowers, how we can maintain without ruining them using medium on them. So I might have to fix them in between plastic and then, or something, or paper. I'll figure it out. If you like, you can leave a comment below if you've used any of your delicate petals or dried flowers, and how you've attached them to your journal pages. I think a lot of us can have some creative ways in doing so. So it'd be great to share that. So making it more saturated with the oxide and the orange, and then putting a lighter layer on top. So I want it to become lighter. I don't want a high contrast up there, but I want to send, it's like whatever you're not sure of, you don't like, or isn't working in that particular area compositionally, you can send it back by putting a stencil or other marks on top. You can obliterate it completely, well, veil it with a piece of collage, but I've done that a lot, so I didn't want to do that. So there's this blue. It says, know your words. So it was a little long, so I end up cutting a piece off of each edge, and I do end up putting it parallel with that blue square. And I noticed as I was looking up there in that upper area, I noticed that that beautiful yellow was so nice. I wanted to bring it down, but I did not want to cover all of that blue. So I wanted to leave an opening, and then with more saturated teal and a little bit of, oh yeah, I see. It goes across, but giving that blue area, but realizing, no, the lighter worked better. So then making that dark shrink down, see, and now it's underneath, and now this orange square has shown up in the middle, sort of the lower middle part of the painting, of the page. So it's sort of cool. That's how I develop my shapes. But I'm not satisfied with that anymore. So that's what I said. I'm gonna go hunt these fascinating shapes down that I really love, draw them out on a clear piece of plastic, so that I can have a record of them. And then if I run out of ideas, I can go and look in my book and see, oh yeah. Or I might have an idea as to what shape I want, and put it down, go and find it. Now I didn't come up with this. I learned this from Adele Sipenston. She is the most amazing art teacher, and if you haven't checked her out, you should. I've been a member of her art academy, right from the beginning, before she even was just launching it. but I used to watch every single one of her YouTube videos before she switched from going YouTube to her membership, which is the smartest thing to do. So notice, thinking, okay, I wanted black and white. This piece of origami paper. Thank you, subscriber out there, for giving me the name. This was a similar piece I used in the page yesterday, and I couldn't think of the word origami. So I'm going to go buy a bunch. I think I left all of these supplies in my classroom. And yes, I am a teacher. So, but wanting to do this full time would be my ultimate dream job. So there is that piece. So there, you've learned more about me already. Remember that piece with the orange and the blue? It is so gorgeous, and that was the perfect spot, because now I have a combination, and then the orange Posca marker, and there's not just a drawn circle anywhere. Now, it's pretty powerful, I could at some point just put a little blue, what do we call them? Staining. Yes. Over top. Even lighten that blue, bring that real light blue, but it's sort of neat in behind there, just leaving it. And I find when I start tampering, I call this tampering with what I put there naturally or intuitively, it just doesn't do the same thing. So I'm learning to leave well alone. And I love how that arc is in behind, but I wanted to extend it on the bottom, even though I did forget to put the little section in the middle there. I might do that. So playing with some more higher saturated teal in and around the page is definitely balancing it out. And this is where, there we go. I know what. There was a little jump there because my battery for my camera that I'm recording just ran out for some reason. So I had to let it dry. And while it was drying, I just thought ahead a little bit of the next steps, saw that blue and white piece of collage, and thought, that looks so much better down there than what I have already. It needed some light. We needed some light, some white. So, way better. And then that created this little space, and those are part of the dried plants and flowers that I found in the book. This is so fuzzy. I have a feeling I know what it was. I have some in my garden now, and they're pink. I forget the name of them. And I wasn't sure to use the heavy gel, but I used the soft gel, and it worked perfectly. So after this, I put a real thick coat. It dries perfectly clear. You can't even see it. And I've got my black circles up there. And then I add just a little bit more black. Yes, that was good. So it brings the eye up, and then you go down with that other little section of saturated cadmium orange hue. Oh, what colors. This is really amazing. I've been having a ball with these colors. Oh, and here I go. I'm starting to warm up to green. And then look what happened. I was shaking it to activate it, and I guess that's what happens to some of the Posca markers. I store them head up, so I don't know what happened. And a little piece of green I saw got in with my little plant, but I soaked that up with just the paper towel that I have ready to go on the right, out of camera. So just that little bit of black line is all it needed. And just a few dots, I feel. didn't want to put too much in, but it just needed that contrast, that higher contrast. So, yes, using the China marker, just putting a few things in, cleaning up the Posca marker, yes, and just putting those little lines in. I could have put some on the left there, but that would overdo it. So I end up making that line and then realized, you know, since that background on the left of that shape is very light, this would be better lighter. So of course I make a little bit of a mess, but still leaving it in the blues. Yes, much better. So I think once it's dry, the contrast lessens and it's much, much better. I really have enjoyed discovering this palette. So I hope you give it a try. And I know it's a little more complicated. There's a little more colors, but definitely you could even add Naples yellow instead of the yellow oxide, which would be really awesome with the orange. And here's the reveal. And it does come off mostly pretty good. I just changed directions in the tearing, and I noticed that the paper there where that circle was, I didn't score it with the X-Acto knife, so I'm doing that right now to get a nice clean line. And wow, I'm just loving these primary and secondary colored pages, going in with a little more orange, fixing those lines. I don't think I do anything more. So I hope you have enjoyed Affirmation Art Journaling page number 28. 2 more to go. So here it is. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And don't forget to hop over to my Facebook page. I will be putting these in my shop. And I will see you in the next video.